Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. IPP's Director of Education, Ronaldo Hudson, described the experience of re-entering into society after serving a period of incarceration as thawing out, after being separated from society and loved ones for so long. It can be challenging to deal with the issues that are uncovered when the frostbite of incarceration begins to peel away. Today, we'll hear from two of our IPP ambassadors, Beria Hampton and Anna Navarro, who will discuss the challenges and triumphs they experienced while thawing out. Hello, how are you doing today, Bria and Anna? It's good to see you two.
We doing good. Thank you, Naviel. It's good to see you as well.
That's good.
Doing good as well. It's nice
Thank
seeing
you.
you.
How are you doing, Anna?
I'm doing well. Glad to see both of
Nice
y'all.
seeing you. Well, yeah. Oh, it's great. Today, as we just spoke about, today's topic is about throwing out, and that's something that I like to say that our director of education, Ronaldo, came to and brought that concept of throwing out. That's that when you're re-entering into society and coming to this, as far as you're re-entering society and coming to this. That's the process that you go through, getting back to know your family, getting all the things, and actually getting rid of all of that, if you will, the miseducation, misinformation, and a lot of the outdated thinking that we have from being incarcerated. But I wanted to pose this question to you, and it's open up for either one of you to answer. How have you managed the emotional and psychological challenges of reintegrating into society that may not be welcoming or understanding of your incarceration? How has that been for you?
Can I go first? Well,
Please,
for
please.
me, there was a challenge with, especially with my family, with them not
Yeah.
understanding the anxiety of being out, the learning technology again, and having the new responsibilities that come with being out and actually trying to be a very good member in society with working and learning how to do a bank account and just everything, and learning how not to have that aggression inside of you that you had to kind of not have in the place that you were in, because obviously certain situations made you be tough. So with coming out and not
Yeah.
being defensive and guard all the time, that was something to navigate between me and my family. And by just talking to people that have been through it, reaching out to programs and being in therapy, that's what has helped me.
I love that so much. That's something that we all experience. So thank you for sharing that, Anna. Bria, do you have something you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I kind of want to add to it. So it was a challenge for me on one hand, like as far as when it came down to like community, it was more like praise and it's okay. Like it was, you fit in, you one of us, you real, right? But on the flip side, when you trying to feed your family, you have rent, children and things like that, trying to get jobs and how you leverage that emotion when a lot of them, when you going for these jobs, it's like they running background checks and there you go. That's your deciding factor. That's your fate almost on the line. And really, how do you explain that? Because it's always like questionable on the application, and just having to learn how to explain it without them being more judgmental of already seeing it. So I would say like it's tough. Now I'm okay with it because I have developed that, and I see that's where a lot of people who are coming out now still have the trouble of just reintegrating. On one hand, because of the environmental impact, it may be cool as far as community and setting. But when you out here in the world and life is still life, and then, bills have to be paid, families have to be taken care of, especially yourself, that's where the biggest challenge come in. And how you got to stay strong. That's one. But how do you really stay strong when everything is against you? You look at what you have, and you just, just pretty much don't take no for an answer. Just come in with the understanding, like everybody is not going to be a yes. Everybody is not going to be in favor of you, but you showcase and you bring yourself to a place where, hey, they can embrace this thing and look at it as something to learn from.
I appreciate you sharing it, but I found personally that the emotion being in prison, you have to basically guard your emotions. You have to be very careful on who you reveal too much of yourself, because sometimes emotion can be taken as a weakness. And to come back into society and actually the switch, it was like a switch popping on to me where I would just break down in tears for the smallest little thing. And I believe sometimes solely because I felt comfortable. So that's something that I had to deal with that was very difficult for me. But I appreciate the both of you sharing that. I want to ask, what strategies have you both found helpful in navigating this passive aggressive tendency of society while staying true to your own identity?
Well, I think, those things that you still have to leverage out at some point. But how I handled it, already, just understanding that a lot of people is not going to outright accept you initially for who you are. But when you constantly be your authentic self, and it doesn't cause harm, then people can see through a little deeper and understand that things that have happened to you may have just, been part of maybe your environmental impact or social settings and things like that. It's like you have to advocate for yourself so hard just to prove that you even a person sometimes. You just have to be, not become comfortable, but understand the fact that, off back, everybody ain't gonna accept you with open arms. So it's constantly like you got to prove yourself over and over and over again. So I guess that's how I leverage just understanding that people not gonna see you for who you truly are. They're gonna look at systems that show things about you that may not be who you are today.
Okay. Anna, you wanna chime in?
For the most part, what Beria says right. People are not going to
Okay.
be here understanding, accepting of you. The strategies I have done is to look at where came from, look at
Hmm.
what I'm trying to, where I started off from, where I'm at, and where I'm trying to
Yeah.
be, and just look at that and hold it as my focus through it all. That, people are not gonna like. For instance, my family was like, "Why are you still talking to people that you were incarcerated all those years with? Why are you doing this? Why are you putting your story out there?" And now, almost a year later, they understand why. But at the beginning, people are not going to understand that, but it's okay. As long as you know what the whole point is, staying true to what you believe and who you are, and hold on to that through it all, and not give up on yourself, and just keep pushing. That was my strategy. Do not, because we already overcame that challenge of being incarcerated. So if we overcame that, we could overcome the little stuff where people are just like looking at you sideways, like you did all the time, and now you're trying to be good or whatever concept that they may have. It's minor to what we went through already.
I'm so glad you said that. There's a lot of people actually when they see us there, they expect certain things. I mean, you see the news. The news is bombarded with recidivism and people that have been incarcerated, but and a lot of us look at that as that scarlet letter that we don't want to let people know that we've been incarcerated. I like to remove that stigma and let people know that I've been incarcerated. So, I was just at an event earlier and I was telling people that, they see me, and when I told them that I've been incarcerated, that they didn't know me, they were like, you've been, and then I try, I like to shock them. Yeah, I was incarcerated for 30 years. And they lose it. You don't look like, or you don't. I said, well, what is, and we hear that, we see so many derogatory things where, whether when somebody's saying, well, you don't sound like, you don't sound like you're from where you're supposed to come, or as if we're put in a box, and because you live in a certain demographic location, or because you are a certain race, religion. uh, whatever it is, sexuality, whatever, because of certain things, you don't fit the mold. But be true to yourself. If you're true to yourself, I think that's one of the best things to overcome a lot of those passive aggressive things that we see a lot of people in society have. And I let people know, hey, I'm here. I'm here. We're in the building. We're educated, and we're gonna keep coming. And we're gonna actually add something. We have something to say and contribute to society. And we love our community. So I appreciate both of you saying that. Um, this concept we're talking about, thawing out. This whole lunch and learn today is up under the concept of thawing out. How can the concept of thawing out help others who are struggling to find their place in the world that once condemned them?
Well, Maria, you want to go first?
I can. My concept of throwing out is, you gotta believe in yourself too. Against
Yeah,
all odds, because it's you who gotta make sure that the others understand who you are and what you've been through. You are not that person anymore, and you learn
mm-hmm.
from your experiences. So just with the realization of what you've been through, how others may perceive you, once you bottle all that in, it can give you that leverage to become your authentic self, to who you are, and to let your past be the reflection of who you are today, showing like a difference in that. What did you learn from? You can not just look at the bad things that I have encountered, but look at them and look at the positive aspect that it brought out, you know. And that, I think that's the major thing. And just really, once you believe in yourself and understanding that it's out there, there's going to be some doors that may close on you, but it's definitely going to be some windows that stay cracked for you or even maybe open for you. So you just got to start with you. Is understanding you and understanding that, how, putting yourself into other people's shoes, how would you feel and what would be a good way to combat that. So you just got to be logical a little bit in how you thinking. So that's for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, that there's definitely a lot of study has to go into that concept of thawing out, and how we're able to use that concept of thawing out, to help us. I believe when I first heard that concept, it made me actually look at, okay, there's a lot of things that that I have this in my thoughts. Just like I lived in an outdated system in prison, now I exist in a now that outdatedness is me. So with that outdatedness is me, I have to give myself permission and grace to go out, because there's so many things that we don't know out in this society. Concepts, phrases, things that are natural in one place is not natural here. So, I think, having the knowledge and understanding that there is, we do have to have understanding that things aren't the same that they used to be. And using that knowledge to propel us forward into doing better things. So thank you for both sharing that.
Yeah, for me, with the thawing out and helping other people is to give yourself grace. Be patient, foremost with yourself. Because I know that we're coming out here when we're approaching our time of being released, or we got that, or we imagine what our life will be out here. I know we idolized a lot of things. And I just say to for most part, just give yourself grace, be patient with yourself. Don't don't underestimate yourself, and don't be hard on yourself. There's gonna be some setbacks.
Yeah.
Things are not gonna be as easy as you thought they were gonna be, because nothing's that easy. And also be in relationship with your family and understanding that just we were locked up for so many years. We're not gonna miss that place, but we are gonna miss the people that we build a family in there with, that we build that connection with. And it's okay to miss them. It's okay to miss the things that you did with them. And I'm saying that
Yes.
because recently for my birthday, I kind of went through it, because you got used to it, in that couple months before your birthday, you start planning things, so you slowly buy things, so you make sure you have the stuff that you're trying to do with your friends, and And then out here, it's like your family's busy, they have their own struggles, they have their own lives, and it's not what you thought it was going to be, but you're still grateful that you got to spend your first birthday home with your family, but yet you missed that
Mm.
different type of vibe and friendship you had in there. So give yourself
Yeah.
that understanding and acceptance that you're gonna miss that too with them because that's what you knew for so long. That's what you built.
How do you balance the need to advocate for yourselves with the reality that society may still view you through a lens of suspicion and judgment? So how do you feel about that?
Um, my opinion on this matter is that I guess we've talked about it already still. Just stay true to yourself and your beliefs. You
Mhm.
know, again, what you went through, and everybody's gonna have their opinion. And just know that with you just advocating and putting your story out there or the mission you're trying to advocate for out there, you will change somebody's mind. Now, it might
Mm.
not be all of them. Not you probably get five out of the 10 or 15, but those
Mm.
five are what counts because then after that five, then you get the 10, then you'll get the
Yeah.
15. It's a progress. As long as the progress goes with your involvement and the change in your narrative, and the more you strive and push yourself to put it out there, everybody's gonna judge. You're never gonna make anybody happy. And that's something that you gotta keep in mind and know when to push and not to push the matter.
Mm.
And I want to add to that, because when you advocacy, when you think about that, you're not the only one who going through this. You leverage that sometimes, like you see a person going through this similar situation and you feel like you can help that person leverage that up. So, you're not the only one in this situation. For one,
Yeah.
helping others sometimes help you. It's like somebody else could have been in your situation and be the person that pull you up, or vice versa. It's just an ongoing cycle of just recognizing that there's other people in this situation and even worse situations. As you navigate life, you'll see that a lot of it and how to leverage all that. It'll come to you. You just got to be patient. You got to be humble. You got to be true to
Mm.
yourself, and just use your discernment a lot out here. Everything ain't for us. We have to realize that too.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's where the advocacy start, because even with what we doing today, we see that this is a problem, not just with us individually, but a collective problem throughout the entire diaspora of the United States, where this mass incarceration is being talked about, or and we see that it's an injustice for a lot of people, in especially like targeted populations of people, more Black and Latino. It's a problem that's been ongoing over time, and a lot of times they are not within the law of what it
Mm.
should be, and they'll take those situations or those people in these certain environments and make it worse for them than others, so to speak.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Avery. That was well said. Now I want to create now this question I have for you now. We're all three in this work. We're all three dedicated and passionate about this work that we're doing. What are the ways that we can create spaces? What are the ways that we can create spaces that allows formerly incarcerated individuals to thaw out and generally adjust to their new lives without fear of judgment? How can we aid in that pursuit of that thawing out to aid those our communities?
So I would think one of those ways to attract more people is to be like more hyper local, not just with the work that you do at the organization under IPP, is with other organization who does similar type things, and being that way, collectively, organizationally, and as far as resources, we can leverage out better and better assist people in different areas and different type of populations. I think it's gonna come with conjoining, like this organization does recidivism or this organization does reentry, how we can collectively get together and really truly help the people. And really that's kind of like accountability issue too, because what I see with IPP doing versus a lot of other ones is said, and I'm really living out and seeing the work. So I see a big difference in that once those orgs or like-minded businesses get together with for the same cause and collectively leverage those resources that can really get out to the people, it'll be a better day, because it's some that's out here that's honestly saying that they doing the work and they not. So I think that'll be one start.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. And unfortunately, you're absolutely right. There are a lot of people that are saying they're in this work, but they're actually not. You don't see them in the communities. You don't see them in the streets. It's sort of like saying I'm a doctor and you're never in the hospital. Saying I'm a lawyer and you don't go to the courtroom.
Agreed.
I mean, how does giving yourself and others grace play a role in this process of reintegration, giving those in this fight and people that are dealing with the concept and the principles of thawing out, which is that adjustment, that reintegration, that learning about these things. How does giving ourselves grace and those around us grace play a role in that reintegration?
Well, for me, I would say, because that grace got extended to you. Who are you to say who else could get grace? Just like it falls right in line with to be forgiven. When you forgiven, you have to have that heart to forgive others. As it made no sense for you to even be forgiven. So that's like a growth process for me. You got to have that same patience, that same humility, that same patience for everything when it comes to grace, because you grace. So that grace needs to be extended for it to be a cycle of grace. We not the judges. We just here to get the grace and pass it along.
Yeah, that is so true. That is true too, Anna.
I totally agree with Beria, and the grace is just learn patience. Like I said earlier, it's being okay with setbacks. It's okay to struggle, and it's okay to ask help. With the grace goes asking for help. We got so used to not asking her for help because you were in an environment that you didn't or you couldn't, because you were looked like weak, or people took advantage of you for asking for help.
Yeah.
So it is okay to ask for help when you're out here. Ask the people that you more that your family. And yeah, some of them might look at you like you should know this, but they forget that you were gone for so long. It's okay to forget sometimes how to work that air fryer the first month you were home, or that microwave, or that toaster oven, because I know I did. It's okay to forget all of that, or how do you change the setting in the washer. We didn't have that for so many years. We didn't have air fryers when we were home. So
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to struggle to call a bank and learn how to fix what's going on with your card, or that extra charge, or mess up on things, or learning how to do give somebody tip when you're paying with a card. Like all those little things that you give your skin hard upon yourself, it's okay.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
very okay. It's not the end all. You're learning, but you're out here and
Oh,
experience and live that. So be okay with that. Be okay that you thought a year from being home, you'll have a car and everything. Hey, you're out here, you're working, you're saving up, you're doing stuff, you're spending time with your family, with your friends that you're out here. It's okay.
And you know what's so beautiful about that, Anna? And you and Bria are testaments to this, that I've seen so much patience and humility and grace and mercy from system impacted people. I mean, those are the people that you would think, the very least of those, that you would think would not have that. The people that you would think would be the worst, or that would be the most intolerable, impatient people, are the ones that show the most grace and mercy. You just had me laughing, and I was thinking about a situation I went through. I was at a restaurant when I first got out, and I ordered some food, and they come back with the bill. And when I get the bill, they're like, it's way over what I know about taxes. We know about taxes, but I'm telling the guy I did not order any gratuity. I did not. So what is I did not I had the spaghetti. I did not have gratuity. You're like, well, sir, there's a percentage that that you pay. It's certain things that you pay on your bill and I did not know at first, and we laugh about it now, but I did not know what gratuity was. So, but we have to give ourselves grace and patience. So, thank you so much for both of you being the physical representation and embodiment of grace and mercy within my life. So I appreciate you both. Um, Thank you. This has been wonderful, and having two of our amazing ambassadors, IPP ambassadors here. Is there anything that you would like to say, either one of you, before I close?
Yeah, I know this our last day of meeting and the final of this cohort. I mean, I know I'm an ambassador for life. I mean, and nothing to be comparable to the experiences that we had in person and doing our virtual meets. That part I think I'm gonna miss. But also what I get to take with me, and I already have been putting out the word about the good work that IPP does. And also in comparison to a lot of those who say that they're doing the work, maybe for them to kind of look at what you guys do and model that and show how you really leverage resources and really uplift the people who have been affected by mass incarceration the most, those people who a lot of them advocate for, that's off the backs of them. So I want them to kind of be mindful. And you guys to keep continuing doing the work that you do. It's a few of you guys out here who's really doing it to the extent. So I will take that with me as I already have, and just keep putting the word out and hoping that one day they catch on to these models, and then I see a collective or a conglomerate of like-minded organizations doing the work to really leverage the people resources up so they trajectories truly change. Because mentally they deal with a lot trying to reintegrate and physically and just trying to find a place in like a chaotic world. So welcoming them back and how they get to from A to Z is very important and also critical. One, so they don't turn around back into the life that they did when they were in survival mode. So it's a lot of understanding of like in processes that they got to understand that people undergo even reintegrating. Just say if they starting from a impacted community and things like that, and then coming back and having to deal with those same impacts. And outside of, once you're inside, the world on the outside is continuous. So there are some things that you do have to catch up to. So, it's a lot that goes in here. I can say I just appreciate the time that I spent to get, for me to get to experience somebody who really doing the work and showing the people how they care. So that was real important for me. I'm gonna keep on having that torch lit for others to jump on board so we can see a better society at large. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Anna, you have anything you want to say before we end?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to talk about this thawing out session and what it means and what it's part of. And like I said, don't, for whoever's seeing this, that's going through it, to not hesitate to ask for help and look for resources. And you will be surprised how many people that have been through that situation will help you, because we know what it is to go through that situation and how it is to come home and re-enter into society. So do not hesitate to ask for help. That is all.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I'm so grateful to have you both here, and as Bria said, you are an ambassador, IPP ambassador for life, and we definitely still use our all cohorts of our ambassadors. So definitely, and you're in the work, and we're going to be, you and I, Bria, we talked about some projects we're going to be doing in our communities as community navigators as well. that brings us to an end of another great Lunch and Learn. If you or your loved ones need assistance thawing out, please view our 14-day Freedom Handbook located on our resource page on our website. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you again next month with another topic from our Lunch and Learn series, Facebook Lunch and Learn series with IPP. Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much, Anafi.